Hey guys, welcome back to Montreal Canadiens TV. My name is Jared Horner, and this is another installment of my 30 teams in 30 days series. Today we're going to be talking about the Ottawa Senators. That was a big breath. Now, anyways, going to some stats last year. Goal leaders, Jason Spezza all across the board with 21 goals, 36 assists with 57 points. Now for plus minus, I'm not really going to count David Hale's plus 7. Due to his only suiting up for 25 games. However, Ryan Shannon played for 79 games and managed to put up a plus 3, so good for that. Even though it's not very good. Anyways, 29th in goals last year with only 190, and 24th in goals against with 250, which is kind of like the opposite numbers of some of the teams that made the playoffs. Anyways, stats like that, I think the Sens would like to forget this upcoming season, but I'll get into some of that a little later on. As far as the penalty kill and power play goal, their power play was 17.51%, good enough for 15th. Not too great, not too bad either, considering with the talent they did have, especially this being a young team. The penalty kill was actually 83.67%, which was good enough for 9th. So for a team who finished that far out, had a pretty decent penalty kill and a not so horrible power play. You know they're getting killed in the 5-on-5. Anyways, most success came against the Southeast Division with a 4-0 record against Florida and a 2-0-2 record against Atlanta. Now I realize those aren't challenges for most teams. However, for this Ottawa team, as a young rebuilding Ottawa team, every night is a challenge for them. Every night's a battle, especially with the injuries they had last season. And you got guys like Gonchar not producing, Kovalev not producing. Well, when he was there at least. And against that division, they were 10-7-3, which was their best against any division in the Eastern Conference. So that's the only one. They can't really beat a lot of teams, apparently. Anyways, starting on defense, let's start with Erik Karlsson. Had a great year offensively last year, putting up 45 points, but was also a minus 30. This guy is still developing, of course, and will be a star for this franchise in the upcoming years. So I look for that stat to increase a little better this year. Also, David Rundblad, I don't know. Somebody's going to correct me. Anyways, he played for Sweden last year and put up 50 points in 55 games and is currently scheduled to be in their top 4, I believe, for defensemen this year. So should be a welcome addition to this blue line who's willing to... is in need of something, anything. Offense, defense, don't matter, they need something. Sergei Gonchar, who had a horrible year last year with only just 27 points in 67 games, was actually the same amount of points that Kovalev put up in 54 games. So it's kind of every time they sign some sort of big name free agent, they never seem to produce their first year there. And Ottawa, and in Kovalev's case, their second year as well. So expect, this players are too good to have reoccurring trends like this, so I expect next year to be a lot better offensively for him. Maybe focus on that minus 15. Then again, he was a good player on a very good Pittsburgh team too. So I'll also take that into consideration just because this Ottawa team isn't that good as compared to Pittsburgh. So yeah, I expect him to do a lot better next year. Phillips and Kuba, who are not expected to chip in offensively, which they never do anyways. However, they were both a combined minus 61 last year. So that's something to take in consideration when you feel like if you're a defensive defenseman, maybe just focus on that. Then again, I can't really put all the blame on them either. Their goaltending was absolutely atrocious last year, especially the revolving door of goalies they had. Let's go over the list. They had Brodeur, Leonard, who with Leonard, I believe he will be a star goalie in this league years from now, if you saw his performance internationally for Sweden. Then of course you got McElhinney, Leclerc, Elliott, and Anderson. With Anderson, I think they won out big time in that deal with Colorado to get him for Elliott. That was, I definitely scratched my head at that trade because that didn't make any sense on Colorado's point of view. And also with Aldous their backup this year, it shouldn't be too bad. He played pretty well in Montreal last year. I believe his record was 6-2-2. So even though he didn't get into too many games, but he can play pretty well. I was actually kind of surprised that Montreal signed him, and I was kind of like, oh, why did you sign Alex Aldous? But anyways, he proved me wrong, definitely. Now, of course, if Anderson's going to be successful, he's going to have a lot more help in front of him, which hopefully he'll get that this year. I don't know. I just don't have any confidence in this Ottawa team. For Spezza, I've heard rumors of him landing in Toronto at some point this year, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be traded anytime soon. They need someone to that's going to be their cornerstone player, and that's what he is right now because Alfredson's on his way out the door, and he had a very disappointing year last year with injuries. So, and he still managed to put up 31 points in 54 games, I believe, last year. So he's still a threat even at his age. And I don't think he, with him and Spezza together, Spezza's not going anywhere. I don't know who started that rumor, it was pretty silly. Now, no major upgrading was done during this offseason, unless you count Kanapka, but I don't think you would. Anyways, it's only for 1 year anyways, so he'll be gone after this year. So, in order for them to make the playoffs, or at least have some sort of success this year, A, they're going to have their healthy players contribute. B, stay healthy. C, defenseman, hang on a second, defenseman, oh, defense. That sounds silly. And D, Anderson needs to shop at the same places that Tommy Thomas shops at and get those fitted horseshoes. Because that's the only way they're going to make the playoffs this year. And if all those stars align, then yeah, maybe they will make the playoffs. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. This team, it's going to be good. Like the Leafs, this team will be good in about 4 to 5 years. Maybe less, I don't know. But they got some young guys who need to still develop at the NHL level, which is what they're doing this year. So hopefully we can see some sort of improvement from them, because they're a Canadian team. I'd like to see Canadian teams do well, except for Toronto. Not that I hate them, I just don't. Well, I do. I have to hate them. Really, that's just. It's gotta be done. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. This video is obviously much later than it was usually supposed to be, but my work schedule is messed up this week. So, anyways, tune in tomorrow. Hopefully, it will not be up this time tomorrow. So. Tune in for that. Anyways, guys, that's it for me, and I will see you guys later.